This episode of UK Low Carb Podcast is sponsored by Deliciously Guilt-Free. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the latest Tuesday series. For the next few weeks, I'm joined by Katie Caldesi. Now, Katie is a low-carb chef and with her husband Giancarlo owns a Caldesi restaurant in Marylebone in London and also in Bray, Berkshire. She also teaches low-carb cooking and is a published author, including the most recent publication, the 30-Minute Diabetes Cookbook. She also appears regularly in the national press. Each week, Katie will teach me a low-carb recipe, so stay tuned so that you can add that bit of Caldesi magic to your own low-carb creations. I'll now hand over to Katie to see what's cooking today. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of UK Low Carb, and in this very special series where Katie Caldesi and I are going through some of her amazing dessert recipes, and we've had some incredible pictures from the last ones we've already had. As always, you want to share your own creations based on what Katie's teaching us, then please do, either in the Facebook group, UK Low Carb, or you can do it on Instagram, UK Low Carb Pod, or at Katie Caldesi, as she's on Twitter. She'd love to see what you've done. Welcome back, Katie, to another episode of UK Low Carb.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here again.
It's wonderful to have you on. Yeah, let's hear about, we've gone through some incredible desserts so far. And, you know, in particular, last week got to me because I felt like that was spectacular with your, like the ricotta with the rum and, oh my word. So, you know, I'm sure you can better that, but it's going to be very hard. So what are you doing today?
So today I'm going to make peanut butter cookies. Very simple. And
wow.
I'm going to have raspberries with them. You could have them with chocolate, but I'm going to put raspberries with them. So I will go through the ingredients.
Yep, let's go for it.
Right, here I have some ground almonds. I have peanut butter. Now, I like the really crunchy peanut butter. Do make sure it is just pure peanuts, nothing else, no palm oil added or anything like that.
Yeah.
Got crunchy peanut butter. I've got some flaxseed that I buy the seeds, also called linseed, and I grind them myself in the NutriBullet just because it's so much cheaper that way and they're freshly ground.
And this is like the similar to your bread recipe, isn't it? I think that is a flaxseed and almond-based one as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And just on peanut butter, you said about the whole peanuts there. It's interesting, isn't it? The last few years there have been many more purer nut butters, but actually when you go back 5 years plus, they were just very high in sugar, weren't they? The American ones in particular. Yeah,
I know. And it's such a shame because the natural taste of roasted peanuts is delicious. What do you need anything else in there for?
I agree.
And they've got so much of their own oil. Why add palm oil in? So we've got flaxseed, ground almonds and baking powder that I'm just going to mix up together here. So it's always best to mix your dried ingredients together first. And then I'm going to add the peanut butter in there with some vanilla. So vanilla is your friend because vanilla is, this is a sugar-free variety of vanilla extract. And that was a whole tablespoon, which I know is quite a lot. And I know it's a fairly costly product, but that I think enables you to keep the sugars right down.
Yeah, but so that sweet flavor. And actually extract and essence are very different as well, aren't they? So the extract is actually from the actual vanilla, whereas the essence isn't. Is that right? Is the essence?
Yeah, I mean, you can actually make your own essence because you can say you use real vanilla pods, then you scrape out the seeds and then you can very finely chop up the pods and use them to flavor alcohol, which is why you'll often see on the ingredients on these extracts and things that it's alcohol because the alcohol gets the flavor out of the pods. So interesting. So I've got 2 eggs in here as well in this bowl. So I'm mixing the dried ingredients and the peanut butter and the eggs together. And now I don't have any sweetness in here at all. So I'm going to add some dates. But if you don't want to add dates, I'm just going to take the stones out of the dates. If you don't want to add the dates, you can add some erythritol.
Yeah.
Or don't have any sweetness in it at all if you prefer that. I think personally it does need a bit of sweetness. And if you're not worried about it, put minimal honey in to get the flavor right. I rather love using dates. They have got at least some nutritional value to them. I think there's sort of trace amounts of potassium and magnesium and fibre in there.
Okay.
So I use dates, but obviously they, if you're talking about blood glucose, they are going to raise your blood glucose. I'm not saying that they're any better in terms of that, but sorry, I'm just moving over to here because I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of hot water.
Okay.
And so the hot water has gone into a small cup with my chopped up stoned dates. And I'm going to mash them with a fork.
So you make your own date extract. Similar.
Well, it's going to make a date puree. Something wonderful happens when you put dates into hot water is that they melt. The sugar in them just melts.
Did not know that. Wow. Okay.
And you can sieve them. You can sieve this date puree if you want to get rid of the skins. But obviously, I like the fibre, and since I've got a brownish mixture of the almonds and the flaxseed and the eggs, there's no point in sieving it just to make it sort of look pretty.
Yeah. Well, just for those who are listening, I can see that the actual mixture for the dough, the batter, is that really thick, gooey consistency. So I can imagine. I don't know for sure, but I imagine these are going to be chewy and crunchy, depending on how they splurge out. But it's going to be delicious.
Yeah. Okay. So my dates have gone into a puree now, and I'm going to add those into here. But please don't be alarmed. Do add erythritol if you want to keep the carbs right down. Erythritol is probably my favorite kind of sweetener.
Have you ever used allulose at all? Have you come across that?
I think it's hard to get hold of.
Yeah, it is. I've not tried it yet. It's in the States, isn't it? But
I haven't
think
tried
it's going to become big
it.
here soon.
I've actually got some in, but I haven't tried it because I don't really want to use it in my recipe testing. Because if it's an ingredient that people can't buy in their local supermarket,
that's true.
For me, it's a bit pointless. It's a bit pointless to use it. So I'd rather, in all my recipes, to use things that people can find easily.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that's right. And I think, I believe, but I'm not entirely sure about it, I think it's actually a sugar that your body doesn't digest or something. So it's a bit like how erythritol passes through your system, doesn't spike your blood sugar. I think allulose is similar. It's going to be interesting in the next few years to see how that comes into the market and, what that'll be like to bake with.
Or what it'll be like to bake with. I thought you said what it'll be like to vape with.
I wouldn't know what that is, but no, to bake with only. To bake with only.
No, vaping as in smoke.
Oh, vape. Sorry, you just want to vape it.
I was thinking, really, you're going to vape with erythritol?
Just check with your doctor first. If you start vaping sugars, okay. Okay, so now that's looking very gooey.
This is my mixture. So just to recap, I've got dates, I've got hot water, I've got peanut butter, ground almonds, flaxseed, eggs, vanilla, baking powder, and that's it. And I put on my recipe a pinch of salt, because if you've got unsalted peanut butter, a bit of salt just brings out the flavor.
Yeah, salt's amazing on everything, I think.
Yeah, salt is amazing on everything. I quite agree.
Okay, so we're going to do put this, do you roll balls on this, or do you okay.
So I'm going to take, I haven't mixed it up very well there. So I'm going to take a walnut-sized piece of the dough, which, as you say, is quite sticky, which, as you say, is thick and sticky.
Thicky, yeah, good.
Or if you mix that together, it becomes thicky.
Thicky, yeah.
It's getting late. What can I say? Right, and there is my little ball of dough ready for making a biscuit.
So the idea is then it sort of melts and will splurge down onto the doodah. How much space do you put between them so they don't touch? Or is touching not a problem?
Just over an inch, more than that, 5 centimeters between each one, because they do splurge a bit. And if you wanted to, you can make these really tiny. So they're about 3 grams of carbs each biscuit. So you don't want to be having too many of them if you're keeping your carbs down. And they're also sort of high in calories. Each biscuit is 139 calories. So I'm not kidding myself that you can snack on these, if you're trying for weight loss. But they shouldn't really spike your glucose too much, because you've only got 2 dates in 25 biscuits. So you're having minimal sugars in this.
I just thought as well, you could actually combine this with your recipe last week as well and have, potentially like a little cookie on the side of that ricotta dish or something,
Yeah, that
or
would be
like
lovely.
crunched on top, maybe.
That would be
lovely.
And I imagine they're going to be pretty filling. Well, I know they're filling because I've made them lots of times before. And so, whereas you might have a rich tea biscuit that's really thin and you think, oh, I could eat 2 or 3 of those. These are really filling because of the natural oils in there and the nuts. So I'm just going to push a raspberry into the center of each one.
Okay, so make like a little kind of indentation and then go on top. Yeah, like that.
I've just put my first finger in there just to push a little hole, and then I've pushed a raspberry into the center of each one. And the raspberry will kind of break down in the cooking and it will kind of go jammy. So you get another little hit of natural sweetness from the low carb berry.
Love that. Wow.
Yeah.
Did not see that coming.
But it could be a piece of chocolate if you don't want the raspberry in there.
Yeah.
So those are done. So we're going to fill up the rest of the tray now.
We've just, through the magic of technology, skipped forward, and Katie has now put all of the, would you describe them as cookie balls at the moment, under the tray with a raspberry on top?
Shaped balls of dough with a little dent inside and a little raspberry stuffed in the center of each one, dome upwards on the raspberry. And I'm going to pop them in the oven now for 10 to 12 minutes at 170 degrees fan.
Okay, fantastic. Let's put them in then. Through the magic of digital technology, we have now cut forward through the baking time. I'm just so pleased I couldn't smell it while it's cooking, so they look gorgeous. And here she is now, the hostess with the mostess, with her cookies.
With the cookies. So these are my peanut butter and raspberry cookies. I don't know if you can see this, but the raspberries have just kind of collapsed a little bit, just going slightly jammy underneath. Yeah. It's hot, so I can't hold that for any longer. And that's it. So I think I've got 23
that to cool and then they're ready to go, I suppose.
Yeah, they're done and ready to go. I'm not going to eat one right now because they are so hot, but they would be delicious with a cup of tea or coffee. They're also transportable, even though the raspberries are a little bit soft on top. You could put some in a box, take them as a gift, take them on a journey, and they're really super filling because of all the nuts in there as well. So you only need one.
Fantastic. And the great thing about these sorts of recipes, a bit like when you did the ricotta, you could use the base for so many different types of variations, couldn't you? You could go more like a cinnamon type cookie or chocolate potentially. There's lots of options there, aren't there?
You can see the steam coming out of it. Yes, there are lots of options. I'm just going to break a little bit off. The taste test.
This is the MV bit for me. Okay, mental note for everyone listening. I've learned a very important lesson today, and that is do not film with Katie Caldesi before lunch when you've been fasting for the night before, because I am so hungry right now, and they look absolutely gorgeous. So
they are gorgeous. I like the saltiness coming out of the peanut butter. I like the sweetness of, I had a little hint of raspberry in there. And they're kind of soft and slightly gooey on the inside and crunchy on the outside. So I hope you enjoy them.
I wish I could. Okay, guys. So like I said, if you're going to make your own cookies, please share a picture. I'm going to do the same competition as last time as well. We'll announce the winners on social media. So if you're going to make those cookies and share your photos, either in the UK Low Carb Facebook group, or you can share them on Instagram and just tag us UK Low Carb Pod, or tag Katie Caldesi on Twitter at Katie Caldesi. We'd love to see what you've come up with, because I'm sure either this actual recipe or like a variation on the recipe to your taste, whatever you prefer, then please do. I'd love to see them. Katie, you are incredible in the kitchen, and that is a work of art. So thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome.
See you next week.
Bye.